Are live here with another episode of Dude, Where's My Flashlight? We have
Ah,
Chris from Michigan here with us, a huge inspiration to me, an early adopter of orbs and steel wool and all kinds of star trails we're going to get into. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good, man. How about you?
Doing great, buddy. It's Sunday afternoon, Sunday fun day. Had an
Yeah,
interesting night of light painting a couple nights ago, but I've been trying to stagger them a little bit more because I feel like taking a night off and reflecting on what happened and kind
gotta
of
do it because I took nights off a couple months back and I've gotten so lazy lately. Like,
interesting.
just keep
But
pushing.
but you have to tell us because I think everyone wants to know from the post just today. How was Aztec in the barn? Like, how was
Oh,
like?
dude, he is the coolest horse ever. Like, we work with his owner, and that dude lays on the ground in the middle of the sun, and people will like call her up and be like, "Is your horse alive?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's just sunbathing." Like, I did one picture with a sparkler, and you could tell it weirded him out, but he only took like 2 steps sideways. So it was like, you got to get to know him better, dude.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah,
he's awesome.
I tried to light paint a sleeping dog once, laying down on its side. I tried to like do a little black fiber optic like around it, just basic
Yeah.
light painting, and it actually worked. But yeah, shooting animals and anyone less than 8 years old, I find that's typically a little bit not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I
Um,
was surprised it went as well as it did. I got like 3 or 4 shots before I got one I liked. So the
yeah,
fact he could stand there, it's like if you actually look at that photo, the rider moved more than the horse. So it's like,
I noticed that. Yeah, and you were like, yeah, the horse is pretty chill, and I was like, dude, that horse has got to be really chill to have you sit there and whap around all your tubes and stuff. Which, by the way, welcome to the tube tribe, right?
oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, now you're going with tubes. How's that going for you? Do you have
Well,
any?
if anybody wants to know, like, I mean, not do I want to do this? Am I going to make an enemy here? Uh,
No, not. A,
Eric Parr, or whatever his name is, Pari, he sells tubes, and they're
oh yeah,
kind of they're I don't want to say they're expensive, but I'm cheap, so like I don't like throwing down lots of money on stuff. And I
yep,
bought an 8-foot tube from Tap Plastics out in California,
yes,
and it cost me $25, and I cut it down myself to what I needed, hot glued it into a thing, and then I use Frank at Light Excursion. Like
absolutely.
I have his couple of his flashlights, and then just screws right into that, and you can change
Yeah.
the colors on the fly and everything. So
Yeah, that's a game changer. That flashlight is a. I had another changing color flashlight, but it was actually from Europe, and so I had the wrong
mm,
plug, and so I'd always have to buy this adapter, and then if it went
right.
wrong, I could. Yeah, so it was kind of a nightmare. But I love his new flashlight, dude. I'm loving your tube stuff. It's coming together.
I'm
Um,
finally getting the wife outside to play with me and do it because a lot of times I have to like do my own silhouette, but she's been getting down there a little bit. So it's like, hey, come on, you
you
help
know,
me out.
totally, and that's what I was going to ask you because some of your stuff is by the pool. Some you're doing awesome star trails. You're out in nature, but I really don't see a lot of portraits of other people. And I know you're working solo, and I often work solo
Well,
or just with my
if you
partner.
actually so my wife has an account at we held at the at symbol and we held hands, old
Okay,
AIM screen name. All her pictures, I mean, she does some herself. Most of them are actually me. So I could take pictures of people.
awesome.
I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
get my fill
honestly,
with her. So,
it's a whole nother game is coordinating with people, trying to get their expectations of, okay, now you're gonna have to stand here for how many seconds? Everyone's
yeah,
like their jaw
yeah,
drops when I'm like, well, I could do a 4 second, 3 second tube spin behind you, or I could do a 5 level light painting, which is a tube spin, fiber optics, calligraphy on top of this,
right.
background lighting, foreground lighting, and then whatever else I can come up with the team. I start this and they end this, and you have to stand
Yeah.
the whole time. So it can be extremely difficult. Sometimes even actually my best nights have been honestly kind of solo sometimes because you kind of get out there and you don't get distracted. You kind of
Well, I've done so much of it alone that when I work with other people, it's almost like just let me do everything.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like unless you're another light painter, and then it's like, hey, you know what's up. It's
Oh,
like
totally.
I've
Yeah.
had a couple meetups where, dude, those have been the funnest nights because it's like, 7 other people that do this too that I don't have to explain what I'm doing. They just do
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
and they can
awesome.
add input. They can have their own camera. You can get a low angle. You can get a high angle. You can get a behind the scenes shot because there's 7 cameras.
Yeah.
And not everyone needs to be front and
I
center.
use a GoPro a lot too. So like
Can
that's
you talk to us about this? Because I have a GoPro. I never thought I could actually light paint or do long
what
exposure.
GoPro do you have?
Well, I've got an old one. And
they're kind
so
of dumb with their settings. So like starting with the Hero 4, if you had the Hero 4 silver and black, you could do long exposure. And then when they came out with the 5, it was only the 5 black, and then the 6 black, and now the 7 black. So if you buy like a Hero 7 white, it's got less capabilities than a Hero 4 silver, but it takes better pictures in the daytime and better video and all that. But
okay.
I don't know. So like I always tell people, if they're going to buy a GoPro for light painting, buy an older model and see if you actually want to do it. That way you're only dropping $150 on one, not $400, you know?
Dude, that is awesome advice. And I think I'm going to take you up on it. I mean, as much as I'm traveling around the world, I do a lot of underwater stuff too, so that thing can go under
There
the
you go.
I
No,
snowboard, so I can snowboard with it.
Yes, like I got into the whole reason I got a GoPro before I even started this. The wife wanted a wedding video down the aisle, and the best thing I think was a GoPro, and so I bought a Hero 3, put it on her bouquet when she was walking down. We got married in Jamaica, and funny thing is, the day before the wedding, I actually lost it underwater because I had one of those head straps, and not thinking about it, I dove all fast and it fell off. So we panicked thinking I lost this expensive camera underwater, but some crazy dude dove down 30 feet and got it, and it was still recording and everything. So it's like, oh man, they're legit. They work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
but the only thing that sucks with them, so like you don't do Photoshop, and with the GoPro, you kind of have to do Photoshop because you got a 30-second time limit. So,
so you're stacking.
So with my star trails, those are 700 photos. Like I'll do my 5 silhouettes across the pool, which is nice because I can do me 5 times. And,
yes.
30 second, got those 5, go back to the camera, make sure I like them, and then hit go again. And it's plugged into a wall, so I'll just go to bed, and then I'll wake up, go grab the camera in the morning, and then I put the 5 together with Photoshop mix of like me standing there. That way, it's cool looking, and there's not most of the time. Like if I'm doing orbs, actually, I mean, I don't have to really cut anything out because I got those down. Practice makes perfect. But some of those silhouette ones, I mean, you get some artifacts where you don't want it. So, but then I use a program called Star Stacks, which that's where I put all my stars together. And once those come out, I just put those 2 pictures together, and you got yourself a nice star trail photo with light painting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't done any star trails yet. It's actually one of the things I was going to ask you about. Like from me, I'm always struggling because I don't have any patience. And oh my God. So like I get out there and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this awesome star trail where I'm going to do a lens swap, and it's going to be like a light painting down low. I'm going to swap out 14 millimeter, 2.8, and I'm just going to shoot the stars for, I don't know. Well, this is why I'm going to have you answer. Like, how do you do it? Is it 30 seconds and that's it? Because at 20 seconds, usually you get bad stuff. I don't know.
I live about 2.5 hours north of Detroit, and in my backyard, facing my house on the pool, where I do a lot of them, it's facing north, and we're the last city north for a good 100 miles. That is big. So there's just black skies that way. If I do it south, it's a lot. And there's just cities all the way to Detroit, so I don't get as many good ones. But I can do 30 seconds in my backyard if I put the ISO at 100, and it's not too blown out. But if I use my DSLR, I'm still trying to figure out star trails on that. I think I need to get a sky tracker and like an auto timer so it does a picture every 30 seconds, and then I can stack them. But I've done one picture where it was October of last year. We drove down to North Carolina, stayed in the mountains, and I left my camera out in the field for about 3 hours. And I got some cool star trails because I took it in the Lightroom and I took the highlights way down, and it was like, oh, it did work. And my lens fogged up and everything. I was trying to even put I don't know if you remember that moon shot I did back in January. I had all the moons stacked up in a row, for the blood moon. I took a lot of pictures that night, and I had who told me this? I think it was at Sea Feverish out in Massachusetts. He said, dude, put some hand warmers around your camera lens and it won't fog up. And I was like, well, let's try it, because it was like -21 that night, and it actually worked. So
awesome.
Ever need to keep fog off your lens, man?
Okay, hand warmers for the models and hand warmers for the camera.
Yeah, because you don't need to go drop $200 on something that'll work a lot better. But if you're cheap like me, hey.
Oh, dude, I just did it a couple episodes ago. We just did a full DIY light tool building.
Oh man,
episode.
I'm gonna have to recommend people to that, because I'm getting asked a lot, like, what do you do for like a cheap orb tool? And it's like flashlight, ping pong balls, and rope, but that doesn't really explain a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And do you find that the rope you're using for your orb tools needs to be a little bit weighted? Because if you can't flimsy, you can't have that. You need to have the perfect amount of weight where it's not too heavy, but it's not too light.
So I actually bought these. If you go on Amazon, and look up finger lasers. You can get like 100 of these little
Cool.
lasers that.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah. Okay. So I would put like 5 of those or 6 of those together, make a cube out of them, and then attach a string to that, and that actually would weight the string down enough to make it work. But once I got Frank's orb tool, it was like, I don't know, his orb tool was actually worth the investment because I went to one of the meetups down in Detroit where it was some crazy fun. Cops called and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so I ended up doing some orbs with there's like Ian Bryant photography from Matt Orb Up and stuff, you know, and my lights just did not compete in brightness to Frank's tool. And I was like, dude, I needed one of those orb tools bad. So actually, when I got home, I tried making a homemade one and it was all right. But man, Frank does such good work that it was worth dropping the $120 on it. So it's like, I do this all the time. So it's actually worth having some good tools, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. No, you got to be working with it. But it's funny because in that DIY segment, and I think I'm going to do a full YouTube episode on just how creative can you get with under $20, you know? And and I'm going to show the world or the community, dude, for $20 and a torch, like you can literally do 5 different effects in one shot. You just have to think creatively. You have to just think outside the box. And I think that's where I'm hoping this podcast can bring a little bit of light to, you know, not necessarily what kind of tools you use, but actually getting into the creative process and thinking creatively, you know, and I love drawing inspiration from other artists, but I always want to make it sure that it's with a twist. Like, how am I going to make this more ethereal light? You know, like I do tube spins. I love Eric Perret. I love Kim Henry. I think they're inspirational to the world.
Is that how you say his last name?
Perret. I think it's Perret. Yeah.
Because I mean, that dude is actually
I haven't had him on the show yet.
Cool.
I think I'm going to ask him to be on the show. I don't know.
Like I've never met him or anything, but the fact he interacts with, it doesn't matter how big or small your account is, he will respond to your comments or even, you know, comment on your pictures sometimes. It's like, dude, that's too cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always willing, because people will ask me all the time, like, how'd you do this? And I'll answer most people, because when I first started, it was like everybody was kind of secretive on what they did, you know?
100%.
It's like, dude, everybody has their own style. So unless you're using, like, there's one dude, and shout out to I Stay Low Photography out there in San Diego, because he's one of the only dudes that can mimic my Star Trail style perfectly, because he was using a GoPro. So it's like, I got a connection with that dude, you know, and
awesome.
I love he's taken it to another level with his crazy, like, Sir Lights-a-Lot photos, you know, where he paints himself, man. I can't do that.
No, there's some awesome people in this community. There are more every day, like they're coming in droves, which is great. I think the last census, and I think this is a rough estimate, but I think it was 30,000 people light painting right now.
I believe it. I mean,
right? Yeah, and I'm in the category of a newer light painter. I've only been doing it for 2 years, you know.
That's where I'm at. I've been doing it for maybe 3 years altogether now. Like 2 years doing it good. I mean, it took me 6 months to get orbs down, so that's another reason. I don't want people struggling as long as I did with them, because it was I just spun in a circle and made them all stupid looking, you know. I mean, they're good in sometimes, but I wanted an orb and I could not get it down, and I went to the local skate park and I just happened to orbit around the drain in a bowl. And when I saw it back on the camera, I was like, oh, that's how you do it. Oh my God, I had no idea. Nobody would tell me.
Okay. And so for all the people that ask you these questions of how you do your orbs, and I think the community, since you're an orb master, would you tell us?
That's so weird.
Would you tell us from start to finish, like how you set up your camera, like, do you drop a quarter on the ground? Chris Bauer Light Painter gave me this like glow in the dark star that you put on a kid's ceiling to make
dude, that is so genius.
Because you can step on it, or it's glow in the dark, so it really doesn't give enough to make a shot, but you can see it. So think about that's my tip. That's my tip for this week's episode is the little star trail or little star.
I knew I should have wrote names down before I started this because I'm horrible with names. I think it's Joe Watts Photography from Indiana out there in Blue Soul. They're a good team together, but I met up with him back in, what was that, April or something? We met up in Holland over in Michigan, and he uses little silver disc he gets from work, just stamped out metal coins basically, and they reflect in the light at night, but they don't get in your pictures too bad. And it's like,
Cool.
that is so genius, dude. Because I just used to throw down like whatever I had, if there's something laying around,
or a rock, or like, hey, do you remember this like little pebble? That's where you're supposed to stand, and people are like, what? I can't understand you.
It's the clump of rocks out there in the field.
Yeah. Okay, so walk us up, setting up the camera.
So.
Like, everything.
Once you find your area you want to do it in, and I don't know, it's so weird. How do I do this? Okay, so I get my spot, and I guess so. I use 3 different cameras. I have my GoPro. I have one Canon that is a crop sensor, and I use a wide angle lens on that. That kind of mimics the GoPro, but I can do longer shots. Yeah. And then I have a Canon 6D that's technically the wife's camera, but that one is good for like my lens ball. So depending on how you got that one set up, like, let's see here. Either way, you got your camera set up. Shut up, Chris. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I'll figure out where my spot is. And I noticed, okay, so when I met up with Blue Soul and all that, Bonnie, I do things backwards from everybody. And it's like, what, dude? Like, that's so weird. So when I set my orb up, I start with my back to the camera. I see the light go off. I start spinning, and I'll turn the light off, or I turn the light on. Not when I first start, but I wait till I get, I don't know, a 1/10 of a degree around. You get your first little spin that way. Because I like to do at the very end of my orb. I keep it spinning a little bit, and that gets that outside circle to my orbs. And I don't know. I like the two-tone. But then I will spin 1/2 circle around with that thing on the ground. As I put it, you like to orbit that thing. Like you're a moon going around a planet. You don't want to be the planet. You want to be the moon. So as you go around and you're spinning, you can go fast or slow depending on what you want the orb to look like. I do 1/2 circle and stop it, and I do that last little spin there. Because if you do a full 360, like I made a video about it, it just looks so much sloppier to me. Like, sure, there's some guys that do it and they make it look great. I can't knock them at all. They got that down. But for me, I messed that back half up so bad. So I just do a 1/2 circle, and then you just spin the light the whole time, making sure you're staying over that spot, and try to keep your hand, like I always try to make sure my elbow never leaves a spot on my side. That way I know the light is always going to be right there,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's key. I think making that fulcrum right
there you go.
Yeah, like putting your elbow like right into your hip joint, right into your rib, and like not moving it and making sure that stays the same.
Yeah, I'm a skinny little dude, so I put it right above the hip because I can jab it in there.
Yes.
So I mean, you just got to find that spot you're comfortable for it, But then I noticed when a lot of people do it, they were spinning with their camera. They start facing the camera and they spun the opposite way of me. Or like when they do the vortex shots, they walk away from the camera. I walk towards the camera. Yeah. And it's like, dude, that's so weird. I can't believe this. Like,
yeah. Well, it's it's just like maybe snowboarding. Some people are goofy footed, some people are regular. It's like.
Did you ever skateboard back in the day?
I did a little bit. A little bit, not much.
So, same thing there. I started skateboarding, and then when we got a park and all the other kids got together, I found out I pushed Mongo, but I had already skateboarded for like 4 years pushing Mongo, so I pushed Mongo, and I have to be proud of it because hey, I taught myself backwards. I don't know how to switch it up. I tried, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, that's the beautiful thing is it works for some people, it doesn't work for others,
Yeah, and I'm like gangly, goofy dude, so whatever.
I love the two-tone of the orbs, man. I think you're absolutely right. They make them look crisp. They make them a little more professional. They round it out. If you have any little imperfection on the top, cover it up, right? And so that helps. That.
Yeah, and if you have like Frank's tool, or there's that I can't remember. It's like Cube something. It's the Cube one that has anything with a remote. I mean, you can make it the watermelon, the blueberry, whatever you want to do. You can have the red outside, green inside, or vice versa. I love that. So, or you can do the whole rainbow throughout, which is awesome.
Yes.
I think it was a game changer when I got that, man.
I love it, dude. And now you're working in the basement. You're going to be back in the basement because it's cold in Michigan, right? You're not going to be outside too much?
The basement is a lazy man's thing. I just haven't felt like leaving the house. So.
Okay.
But like right now, I'm a little cold, so I have long johns on and two sweaters. So I don't mind going out freezing. It sucks the first couple of weeks, but it's such like people don't realize how warm Michigan gets in the summer. I mean, we get 90, 100 degrees days, but the wintertime, man, it can be brutal. But I don't think it's nothing compared to like Minnesota or North Dakota. So
I just got back from Banff, and even though it's just late September, even
right?
just in Alberta was nuts.
I saw they just got snow in Calgary, and it's like, dude.
And I was literally 2 hours from Calgary. So yeah, I mean, I believe it. It was snowing on us at 6,000 feet, which isn't that high up, but I mean, I was still getting snowflakes coming in our shot. So
it'll be any time here in Michigan. I mean, it's getting a little chilly. The leaves are changing. So
yeah.
But I do like wintertime better because I get the longer nights. You know, it's already getting dark at like 8 o'clock.
Well, and that's just it. It's like you have to wait till 10 to even just get ready, and then you've got to, if you're bringing people, oh yeah, what time are we gonna start tonight? They think it's after work. It's like, no, you're gonna have to go home. You're gonna have to eat. I'd say take a 2-hour nap, and then possibly like meet me at 11. And we're gonna go to like 2, and people are like, no, that
call into work tomorrow.
Yeah. So I agree. The winter hours are a little bit nicer, even though you get a little chilly.
I kind of burnt myself out too. I was going out every single night for like 2 straight years. And I mean, here's one cool thing about light painting. Before I got into it, I was going to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. You know, I get up for work around 6. So that part hasn't changed. But now I have a reason to stay out later. I go to bed at midnight, 1:30, 2, still get up at 6.
Yeah.
But man, it just got to me this year. It's like I need to take a little break. But
yeah.
That's what I mean. I shouldn't have, because that little break has turned into a lot of breaks, and I'm just like,
you're still putting out awesome fresh stuff, dude. I mean, your stuff is killer.
Thank you. I just feel like the pressure's on to keep it up now. I'm like, oh God, man. But you know, the key is you got to have fun doing it. I still have fun doing it. So
yep, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's a great fun thing. Like I got into it on accident too, because like I said, I started with a GoPro and I was doing skateboarding stuff, and I was 32 at the time when I hurt myself, and it was like, I can't afford to hurt myself anymore, man. Like I tore my ankle up pretty bad, like tore the ligament down there, bruised up the leg, you know? So, well, I still have this GoPro. I can't let it go to waste. And there's Kyle Wicks from Canada, K Wicksky. I don't know if you've ever seen, he doesn't really do a lot of night stuff. He's a lot of nature and all that, but he did a steel wool post one time. And I was like, what is that, dude? You know? So I asked him about it, and he was one of the few guys to actually tell me what was up. And it was like, okay, I'm going to go try this, man. I have that camera. So I don't know. I never looked back. Just
me either. I love it. I love it.
And I've always been like, you know, like here, this thing, I'm going to do the 1-chip challenge in a couple of days, but just that right there. It's that super hot chip that it's like 3 million Scovilles or something like that. Or what is this? It's stupid. I ate one like 2 years ago. And I mean, I love hot food. It's screwed me up for life now. Now when I eat hot food, it's a 50-50 crapshoot. Are you going to be on the toilet in 30 minutes? Or is this going to be a good day? So
no way. Yeah.
I'm going to do it again.
Body hates it. My tongue loves it. My body hates it. Yeah.
You know, I'll give them some credit because it has flavor to it, and it's also killing you at the same time. But just like I say, just this box here, that's enough to give me some inspiration, you know? Like, I just think people need to not be so self-critical on it, because, like, she'd probably hate that I'm saying this. My wife, I don't think she would ever do this stuff because she would be too self-conscious about what people thought about her beginning work. It's not that good, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, everybody starts off with it's not that good. And you just got to, everybody's thoughts are different too. So she's not going to get the same inspiration out of that box I'm going to get. So let's see what you can do, you know? I just love seeing other people's work. That's another reason I'm glad to tell you exactly what I do in my photo, what I'm using, what tools I have, because you're not going to be able to do what I did. Yeah. You're going to do something either cooler than me or something I love just as much. So
yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. I think bringing more transparency to this community could only help. You know, I do ask some people how they do things, and they're sometimes guarded, and sometimes they're very open about it. You know,
I don't tell people a lot of what I do in my comments on Instagram, just to keep it a little veiled. You know, I'll send you a private message, but I'm not going to go like the domes. I don't like putting that one out there. Figure it out on your own, dude. I'm going to tell you a bike tire and your lights. You do the rest. You know?
Yeah. That's actually really funny you mentioned that, because the first one, I think you mentioned it. Is it Halogi? I don't know.
I call him Halogi, but I can't read. So.
Okay. We're going to go with you probably know him better than me, Halogi. I'm going to reach out to him actually to be on the podcast. But
he's awesome, man.
He did the first like little domes, and I was like, how are they doing that, right? And I'm like trying to get a light flute, and I'm trying to like do like this, and I'm trying to go like back this way, and I'm trying to make the 360 dome, and I'm like, that's not right. That can't be.
Dude,
right.
I searched on Google for so long one day, just light domes and light painting domes, and I found it was some YouTube video from 6 years ago or something back then. So it's probably 8 years ago now. Yeah. And it was a guy showing how he did it. And it was a bike tire with the the metal bar down the center and sitting there at a 45 with lights around the end. So same thing. I bought some lights off eBay. Wow, Amazon. How old school am I? They're like $16 for I don't know, however long it was. I have this guy at work made a trophy stand for his wrestling team. So he left a 3-foot piece of wood circle. And I was like, I'm taking that home, dude. And I wrapped however many lights I needed to go around the outside. Maybe it was 8 feet or something like that. I got for like $16, but it comes with a color changing remote.
Yeah.
Does like 8 different colors, and then it does a rainbow. So I can do any dome I want now. It's amazing. There's actually a guy from Germany that I can't pronounce his name. It starts with an H. What up, dude? If you ever see this, it's like, oh man, I wish I could say his name, but he mastered that dome, man. He did one shot with like 100 domes in it. And he did it behind the scene, and it was on a basketball court where he had it all marked out with the arches with tape and markers and chalk. It was like, dude, that is intense, man.
Dude,
like,
that's awesome. Just by hearing that makes me inspired to think about, like when you get the bird's eye view of like the shot chart in a basketball game where it's like, the circles are all like the made ones and the X's are like all the ones that are missed.
Dude, and like, that's what his looked like.
Dude, that's awesome. I love this. This immediately makes me think of like, dude, you could recreate a shot chart for, whoever in a basketball light.
Man.
Yeah.
That's genius, especially if you had somebody with a drone and you do it from above.
Well, and I've just recently gotten into drone stuff, which is why I actually want to reach out to Holoji because he's doing some drone stuff. Have you seen him work? It's absolutely awesome. So I've got
my brother-in-law has a shitload of drones. He doesn't use them enough because he's always like, I'm gonna get yelled at for flying them, and it's like, no, you're not, dude. Like, just show the people what you're taking pictures of, and they're gonna love it. So come on, come out and do pictures with me. And he never will, and it's like, whatever, dude. Like.
I've actually wanted to do like some steel wool. I've done a steel wool bird's eye shot. Like it's an
those are fun
above the head, and you can see that spread out.
Yeah, he's done a couple of those with me, and they're always really neat.
Yeah, it's just a different. I mean, dude, you're giving people something new, which is I think why, as an artist myself, I'm always trying to come up with something new. I want my feed to be like, okay, you're really not going to see a similar photo, hopefully, in my feed. You might, and I rarely
see, that's been my problem lately is I think it's just me in my head, but I feel like my feed just looks the same after you go down 2 pages, and I'm like, like I haven't done steel wool in a long time. I've been keeping it at a minimum just because what else can I do? Like, I've done it all. It feels like
in the winter because it's a little bit more wet and cold, and it's not so much fire.
Now that I give a shit more all of a sudden, because a couple years ago I didn't really care. I've only started like 2 or 3 fires. One of them was a parking lot of cottonwood, and I thought I was starting the apocalypse because it just went up in a blaze, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But it was dead in like 10 seconds, But I started a grass fire one time, and that was a little freaky because it was like, oh dude, if I can't stop this is gonna be bad. But luckily I had a bunch of water with me, and But in the winter, you don't really have to worry about it. And in the winter, you get ice, so you can bounce those sparks. That's always super fun. So
I didn't think about that. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about real quick, Chris. Let's talk about your steel wool rig. Are you putting the little finger lights down the rope? And so that's
dude, my rig actually just broke. I don't know what happened to it. I was trying to, because I'm a man of duct tape. I wrapped that battery pack so thick with duct tape on the whisk. When I had to cut the duct tape off, I cut the rope. And I was like, no, dude. So I have a 9-foot chain, and I bought these, they're called bright lights, I think, but they're for the inside of your bicycle rim, so you can be lit up at night and safe, They make them with a rubber tubing around it, and that is perfect for zip tying to that chain. That way it doesn't break the actual inside of the wires. And it's got a little box on it, and it's just tied right to my whisk. So I go on there with a handle on it, and I'm going, Feels crazy because you never watched the movie Kill Bill. There's that little Asian chick with the chain mace. I feel like I could kill somebody with that thing.
Do you do left and right-handed light painting? That's a good question because I'm really trying to train left to be just as good as my right.
I'm actually thinking about it. I don't think I've ever used my left hand except for when I'm tracing my body. I use it over here, and I suck really bad with it. So I should probably start. I mean, I'm horrible with my left hand at everything. So.
It kind of helps, man. I mean, I got to be honest with you, especially like doing symmetrical like light painting or like calligraphy where I'm like going like this and I can actually just mimic my hands together. So you don't have to do one side and be like, now which way did I loop that one? If you actually mentally
suck drawing with my hands so bad no matter what. Like that's why you don't see a lot of drawings out of me because like even if I try to do the writing, I'm kind of dyslexic, so I like my job lets me deal with numbers. I don't know why, because I'm always typing them backwards, and it's like, what's your guys' problem? Have you learned yet? But I'll try to write something out, and it comes out backwards every time, or a letter will be backwards every time, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure in my head I drew that backwards, but apparently not. So, but yeah, like there's actually a band from around here that wants.
We're sort of breaking up again.
I wonder if my wife's going crazy with Netflix right now. I have an idea though. I'm gonna turn my.
Stranger Things. Hey, dude, the new Dark Crystal series is pretty dope, man. Maybe I'm dating myself, but I remember that first movie, and they redid it. What 37 years later? So you can imagine how well they did it this time. It's dope. If you're into the Dark Crystal or anything, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
Never heard of Dark Crystal, but if it's that old, damn.
The first one came out as a Jim Henson movie. Came out in 1982.
So I'm born in '85. That was my mom before I got into it. Like my mom's into unicorns and shit. Like growing up, there's unicorns and magic mushrooms all over my house and gnomes. And
nice. Yeah,
that's probably where I get a lot of my.
We have those things out here in the forest. We have those magical creatures out here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, buddy, a couple more questions for you. Okay, number one, I think a lot of people want to know how you came up with your Instagram name. I don't know what it means, and I tried to tell people about your account, but then I'm always getting the letters like kind of transposed, and I'm like, it's AOW, I can't remember.
So this is super lame. It's my screen name I made up back in 1999 for AOL Instant Messenger. Huge into skateboarding back then. AWS is Alien Workshop Skateboards, and OBX is just filler letters. And I don't know, I've made it it's my Xbox Live name. So if you ever want to play Xbox Live, anybody, hit me up. It's just filler letters. And I don't know, I've made it it's my Xbox Live name. So if you ever want to play Xbox Live, anybody, hit me up. I don't play a lot anymore. And if I do, I'm playing like NASCAR. That's lame. But yeah, and it was like just the name I chose. And I don't know, once I kind of started going places with it, it's like, I can't change it, dude. Like taking up Wi-Fi. We don't need that.
Okay. Cool. Well, in your absence, I was looking at this beautiful light painting on the llamas behind you, or the alpacas. It's like this fan is chopping the thing. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome light painting idea. It's like,
yeah, that's not actually a bad idea, dude.
Dude, using the fan and chopping the light and like getting all these like crazy dude. I'm into all the weird stuff. Like if you ever, I don't know if you know Dan Chick from Hack the Light. He's an admin on lightpainters.com.
Okay,
anyway,
I'm gonna have to look him up.
I met him and Gunnar Heilman. They are the admins on that account, and they were at the Pacific Northwest meetup. So I got a chance to meet with them. They do a lot with bending light. They do a lot with light painting itself, but they actually try to add in all the photography tricks inside of light painting, which I find extremely fascinating. And if you're looking for new avenues to diversify your portfolio, dude, just Google Google photography tricks and then do those, but then add light painting into it. And now you've got a whole nother like arena of possibility.
Like I like when the people do the tube at the end of your lens.
Yeah.
You got the light painting outside of it.
That's one of them. Yeah. And then what if that tube had like, it was a book, it was like pages, and you could read the pages and you highlighted certain words on each going down the tube. And then you saw the silhouette of a dude with like smoke coming out with lasers, like very Phil Fisher like,
Right? Yeah. Dude, Phil Fisher, man, that guy is amazing.
I've asked him to be on the show. I hope he says yes. We'll see. Yeah.
Instagram is horrible for not putting people in your feed, and you just said his name. It's like, I haven't seen his stuff in months. I need to go look him up when I'm done with this.
Well, and honestly, Chris, this is exactly why, thank you for being on the show. This is exactly why I'm trying to get this.
Thanks for having me, dude. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Get going, because, your feed can only say so much. We don't know about, you and what inspires you and your creative process and tips and tricks that you gave us today, Buddy, do you have one song that you could add to the master list? I'm putting together a Dude, Where's My Podcast playlist. Something that inspires you to light paint, even if it's before going out or even during the shot. Do you have something you want to add to the list?
So Dubba Johnny, if you type in DUBBA Johnny, and I think the song is called Always. That is like one of my, I can just listen to that and I don't know if it inspires me, but it puts me in a zone, man. I love
It's
it.
going on the list, buddy. It's going
It's
on
like
the list.
you know, it's like trap music kind of, so EDM a little bit, but
Okay.
it's
Good.
trippy, so I love
I
it.
love it. Well, hey, we love all things trippy out here in the West Coast.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
See, my dad's
I
actually
just
from
got back from
California,
Burning Man.
so
That was crazy. Yeah.
I don't
That
know if
was
that's where any of the weirdness comes from. My dad's from Oakland, so
okay. Well,
I.
maybe.
Oh, look at the giant cat! Don't
Oh
spill
yeah.
stuff.
This
Look at this
cat's been
thing.
in your photos, man. You put Christmas lights on this cat before.
Yeah, I was actually trying to take a different picture, but he is having none of it, so he became the picture.
Yes. I love it. I love it. All right, dude. One final question to leave us. I hope, and I'm hoping that I can actually start a school for light painters, a Hogwarts for light painters, if you will.
I
I
like
would
that.
love to have
Ravenclaw.
you. Yes, I would love. Nice, nice. I would love to have you come back and teach a course. What are the kids in the summertime before they get to go to your class? What are they talking about? What are they excited about? What are you going to teach? What's your course?
Oh God. Oh man, that's on the spot, isn't it? Um, star trails, steel wool, and light painting.
Awesome.
And silhouettes. There you got the 4-star. We'll call it the 4-star class.
Awesome.
You know?
I love it, man. I love it. We'd love to have you, dude. Dude, Chris, thank you so much. Is there any where can we find you? Tell us about okay, so Instagram is AOWBSX.
Yep. And then my wife has an Instagram, which is And We Held Hands. And I do a lot of her photos, but I mean that's if you're into what would you call her? I don't know. I call her regular photos all the time. I don't know. Like cute girl stuff, you know?
Sure.
Cute ways to decorate your room.
I think it's lifestyle. Lifestyle.
Yeah, lifestyle. There you go.
Hey.
I don't take credit for a lot of it, but I do take the photos for a lot of her work. So,
sure.
Or if she can't get a photo down, I use a lot of. It's kind of weird. You can apply the light painting techniques to just you don't have to use the light painting, but throw these lights down and get some bokeh in the background or something, you know. And I don't know, it works. We shot a belly dancing concert yesterday, and it turns out light painting made me really good at seeing, you know, people in LED lights. So I was like, let me get the settings right. I can get this apparently. So I don't know. That's about really all I have. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Facebook. When am I 50 years old?
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel, but I haven't uploaded anything to that in a really long time. I do some IGTV videos on Instagram, but I also haven't uploaded to that in a long time. So
well,
just been doing photos.
Love to see more, man. When you're inspired, you inspire a lot of us, and that's why you're on the show. And
that is still so weird to me because inside this head,
with you and hopefully painting with you at some point. I think there's a Chicago meetup at some point. I might join the Chicago meetup. I don't know when that's going to be.
Damn, that's supposed to be I think November 9th. That would be amazing, dude. But I know next year for the 5-year anniversary, my wife wants to go to the PNW out there. So if that happens, I'm gonna be hitting you up, dude.
You please do. It's great. It's a great meetup. We go into the St. Helens, Mount St. Helens. There's a lot of tubes. It's you can paint during the day, which is super nice. You can actually,
just going to Planet Endor is like my dream. So or the Forest Moon, you know.
Well, I can't wait to do a Jedi shot with you. I've been doing Jedi shots with a lot of people, so I'd love to.
Dude, I love doing like Street Fighter. How would you think that inspires people? But yeah, you can do the Hadoukens, and that shit is so much fun, you know. Sorry if I'm not supposed to be swearing here. I got a sailor's mouth.
No, that's okay. I think everyone on the show has sworn at least once, so I'm just gonna have to. It's actually funny because now I'm starting to upload them to iTunes, and it's like, do you have any graphic material on this show? And I wanted to let you know, but I have to say yes, which is totally okay.
So I can find these podcasts on iTunes then, because I listen to podcasts all day at work. So
so we're
interested.
Try to get them to as many platforms as possible. iTunes being the number one, and then whatever else is out there. I think it's I'm not sure, but I'm starting with iTunes. That's where you're gonna mainly find it. I'm gonna have most of them on my actual Ethereal Light channel. And just on my Instagram, I'm going to post it as a post, and then people can watch it there. If you want to post it on your post, by all means, great. Give us more exposure. But yeah, man, thanks so much. It's nice to meet you. Keep inspiring us, brother. And
Same here, dude. Like I said, that's so weird to me because inside my head, I still have like 100 followers, and I just love watching other people's work, and I'm just going out there just playing around because I have horrible ADD and hate sitting on the couch. So
I agree. I couldn't agree more, man. Well, thank you so much, brother. It's nice to talk to you. We'll get you again.
Glad being here, man. Thanks.
All right, man. See ya.
Have a good one.